We had a guy that sent in a notification that I thought might be interesting to talk about that, and also a couple other things here too on setting up a business in St. Kitts, doing through the economic citizenship developments. But I want to talk to you about this guy. He brought up a point. It was a good point he brought up. Was he mentioned about Dubai and the difference. Dubai, you don't have any income tax there, no capital gains tax, no estate tax, no inheritance tax. And he was talking about, St. Kitts having a local tax, where Dubai did not have, for setting up a company. Well, that's if you set up what's called an unincorporated business. But there's a couple things that you got to know before you jump in Dubai. First of all, as I mentioned to you before the other day, when you go to Dubai, you're already thousands of dollars in the hole. You're going to have to pay up thousands of dollars even before you start your business. St. Kitts, there's nothing except $180 US license fee, but you don't even have to pay that if you set up a seashells company, and there's no income tax. Remember, in St. Kitts, now there is a business tax. It's 2%. It's normally 4%. It's 2% now, but you get a big deduction before that kicks in. That's peanuts, and you can even avoid that. As I mentioned to you before, you can set up a seashells company, or you can set up, a Samoa company. There are loads of countries that have offshore companies that you can set up and pay zero tax on that. But it's not just that, it's the quality of life. The weather in St. Kitts, there's no comparison to the weather in St. Kitts than in Dubai. The weather in St. Kitts is nice all year round. It only varies about 5-degree difference in the temperature. Now, Dubai's weather is nice when you start hitting around November. But I'm going to tell you something, from April through about September for sure, and a lot of October, you're going to have weather that's just incredibly hot. And you literally, I never even opened my windows up when I was in Dubai. It's not so much the heat, because there is part of the year that's pretty nice. It's from November through about March. The weather is nice there. In fact, it's actually cooler there during those months than it is in St. Kitts. It's the sand problem. You open your window, man, you get just dirt and sand that just gets blown all in your house. It's a mess. I mean, some things like that don't bother people, but I like having fresh air, opening my window up. And the quality of life, the air, you don't have the air pollution problems and stuff like that. And you got a lot of people here that live to be over 100 years old. I would say there's probably very few, if any, people that live to be over 100 in Dubai because of the lifestyle over there. The air pollution, it's just not a place that I don't think you're going to see a lot of longevity over there. I mean, you can pull it up and do research on the number of people that are over, percentage-wise, that are over 100 years old there. A lot of people don't think about stuff like that until they have a health problem, then they start thinking about it. But I like having good health, and that's something that's a key thing that I like to look at. But these are some things that you need to look at as far as the difference goes. One other thing I want to talk to you about too is if you set up your own, because I did a video the other day on your own citizenship by investment development in St. Kitts. The first steps that you would need to do for that is to basically do a plan and present it to the government. I don't see it's very few people that are actually turned down for that. They're gonna have to see that you've got some net worth, that you're gonna finish the project. But they're gonna basically, you present that, and then what happens is once you're approved, then you can start your development, your advertising, everything to get it built. What I would do as far as selecting the area, the two areas that I would look at is either Frigate Bay, where this video is being taken here. This is actually looking out right on this picture here, is looking all the way out to that mountain, which is South Frigate Bay. This is going out to North Frigate Bay, and I kind of walk out here. This is the part where the actual golf course meets the ocean, and this is where you get a lot of video pictures that are up high looking at this. This is real pretty out here where the golf course out here literally meets the ocean. But I would be picking Frigate Bay, which is this area here. This is North Frigate Bay, looking out here, South Frigate Bay. Or I would look at Half Moon Bay, which is actually just beyond North Frigate Bay here, which is on the other side of that house there. If you go to the Southeast Peninsula, which is pointing, see those mountains way off in the distance, right in the middle of the video here? That's the Southeast Peninsula. It's very pretty down there. I've done other videos you can pull up on that. It's a lot more expensive, but my advice is if you're going to do this, keep it as close as you can to the $400,000 mark, but you're going to get a lot more square footage, and this is what people do look for. I find it out it's not so much five-star resort they're looking for. They're looking for square footage and what they're getting for their money. When you start doing five-star resorts, your cost per square foot is going to be a lot higher. So people, getting a lot of room close to the $400,000 mark, it's going to be a lot harder to build those structures to do that. Now, one advantage if you do build outside of the resort areas, whether the Southeast Peninsula or Frigate Bay, you can get your square footage down quite a bit. I mean, that is one advantage about picking those areas that are way out. But you need to have it where where it's pretty close to stores and stuff like this. If you go to the very far end of St. Paul's, Diet Bay, Newton Ground, there's a Ramada out there right now at Newton Ground. I would not advise doing that. I would be getting closer in to where you're right here at Frigate Bay, Half Moon Bay, and you can actually get the square footage. I would be trying to get as much as you can for the client and get the max square footage that you can get for the $400,000. That's the best way to market it, and stay away from fractional units. Don't try to market fractional units. I've mentioned that before. That's where you try to sell a unit where someone owns a fraction of the property or fraction of the title, and that's just not, it's very difficult to sell those, and I would not advise trying to build those. There are companies down here that have done it, been successful at doing it, but I'm going to tell you, it's, as far as the investor goes, it's not a good investment. I would be owning the whole unit, and that's the way I would be marketing it. If you're going to be doing a citizenship by investment development, we can help you select an actual a property, a site for that, and it's a great place to live, folks. No income tax, no capital gains tax, no estate tax, no inheritance tax. But like I said, if you're from the U.S., you're going to have to, you're still taxed on your worldwide income. So, you could go up to, right now it's, like I said, it's $216,000 for a husband and wife. It's $108,000 each. If you file it joint, it's joint return is $216,000. You've got to be outside the U.S. long enough to qualify for the foreign earned income exclusion. But like I say, again, it's unlimited if you get out of your U.S. citizenship. That's the key. You can still go back to the U.S. And in fact, this is another key thing too, is if you're from the U.S., Canada, the U.K., remember, if you're living in Dubai, you're going to have to go back to Dubai every 6 months. Okay, and if you're living there all the time, that's different. But if you're setting up a business and then you're moving away from that site, Dubai, you're going to have to be there every 6 months. Here, you don't have to do that. They don't have those restrictions. When you set up a company, you can take off and leave whenever you want. Okay, whether you're a citizen or not, it doesn't make any difference. But you're going to have a lot more. I think as far as citizenship, there are a lot of benefits, which I've gone through in other videos about getting citizenship versus not getting citizenship. So these are some things that you ought to think about. Anyway, folks, if you want more information on this too, also go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. Hit the top bar that says apply with us, fill out the questions, hit that bottom bar that says send it to us. Also, I'd like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, just put it below, and don't forget to hit that notification bell and the subscribe button right below your screen. We got just under 600 videos that you can look at that will tell you more about this and other types of things that will lower your taxes. And also, folks, if you're looking to find a place and get out of your high taxes, I would be doing it sooner rather than later. There's a real liberal government in the U.S. now, and you also have it in Canada too. And these governments, I think, are going to be coming out with a lot more stricter rules and regulations and trying to get out of your tax obligations, like relinquishing. I think they're going to go up on those obligations to exit and get out. And right now, there's a backup trying to do that. So if you're thinking about doing it, I would advise you to do it sooner rather than later and getting that thing done. Now, if you're from another high tax country like Canada, Australia, whatever, basically all you have to do is just leave that country, be outside, and they're dependent on the country. Australia's got kind of vague laws as far as how long you have to be outside the country, but we can help you more on that through advisors that we can refer you to on that and trying to break your tax ties. But if you've got a lot of crypto investments, folks, it's crazy to be staying in a high tax country. I would be getting out and making some plans and trying to do that. Like I said, getting your own citizenship by investment and development and marketing. You do not have to have experience in this. We can help you find a contractor to actually develop the actual site and get that going. It's just going to be basically getting a few bids. We can recommend you some real good people for doing that. Or you can just come in. If you're a no-to-personal building, you can come in and get your own subcontractors and start doing it yourself. And you just have to decide if you want to go through that hassle or if you want to get a building contract to do that, and not have to mess with it. Anyway, folks, if you want to go to our website, you'll get more, www.citizenshipquickly.com. And also, we've got a link below. You hit that, you'll go right to our website, right below the video there. And again, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. You'll get new videos automatically. And I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.